Hey buddies, it's your girl AyChristene, and today we are checking out I Got Circumcised as an Adult, okay, by Young Don Animations. How do we put this on this list? I'm gonna, I guess, see it if there's something he's trying to tell me. No, you know what, girl, don't tell these people your business. Links down below to become a patron to get the uncut reactions to all the shows and anime we check out, just like Vesper, Javi or Javi, Sunflower Jive Music, Nolan Fuster, Franco, and BXNE. Links down below, like I said. Now let's get started.
Regrets in my life.
No regrets.
If I could go back in time and stop myself from doing a few things, for
What
sure,
is it?
one of them would be cutting the tip of my dick off.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. But you
After
wouldn't
being gone for
do a
about 3 years. I'm sure this was the kind of story.
Right.
you thought
I
I'd
wasn't
make
expecting
my
this.
big comeback with. But
Not-
yes,
not
about
expecting
2
it, but
years
okay.
ago, 2023, as a fully grown adult
Why would you wait
man
till
with
then?
children,
You know?
I decided
Oh, you got
to get
2 babies.
circumcised.
Wait,
Now,
why?
would a fully grown adult man with children decide
Right.
to do something?
I know you had
so
one, but I didn't know you had
insane?
2.
Was it a medical necessity?
Right.
Nope. My
No.
Johnson was working just fine.
Whoa,
Was
okay.
it cosmetic? Was I just finally tired of being team turtleneck and wanted to permanently drop the top
phrasing.
of my joint?
Okay.
In fact,
Relax.
I can now speak from experience. It's a downgrade. Personally, I prefer the convertible model. Which makes sense. After all, we are all born with a hoodie for a reason.
Hilarious.
So why, Don? Why did you do this to
Why?
yourself? For the same reason dudes have been doing crazy shit since the beginning of human civilization.
Oh, for women.
In the name of God. Yes.
Oh.
You see, I went on a
not women?
spiritual journey. I
Okay.
became very religious, very devoted, very
all right.
zealous, as they say.
Okay.
I was willing to do anything and everything I thought I needed to do in order to please God. Now, I'm no longer a very religious person, to be honest. I'm not here to tell you what to do or what to believe. And
So just just recently, you just like felt
that's
too late there, but
hornet's
right?
nest that I don't want to stick my dick inside.
Wow.
But
Wow.
I am
Hold
gonna
on. Did
tell
you
the
like
story
fall
from my
down a religious?
heart
Okay. Thank
because
you. Thank you.
It's fucking hilarious. And before
right.
we continue, I
Yeah,
just want to
please, let
shout
me
out
know.
my second channel, YDR. I do funny daily reactions over there. It's nothing religious or political or serious. It's just straight entertainment. I also stream over there, occasionally playing video games and just chopping it up with the chat. So
all right.
click the link in the pinned comment and go subscribe. Maybe
Was he playing
hit
Parasocial?
100K in 2025 So there are different kinds
GGs.
of Christianity.
Yeah,
right? You've heard about this.
right. I want to
Catholic,
know.
Orthodox,
Oh, please don't go through the whole list.
Pentecostal, Church of
Pentecostal.
Christ, Baptist, Methodist, Calvinist, Mormon, da-da-da-da-da. Yeah, there are both.
Non-denominational.
Right? Well, I experimented with a few because the Bible doesn't tell you which one is.
It doesn't. It
I mean,
doesn't.
supposedly, you can figure it out by reading the Bible and connecting the dots. But if it was truly that simple, there wouldn't be hundreds.
There wouldn't be
if not
50
thousands
million
of different
gazillion
kinds of
ones.
Christians
Right,
and
right.
churches and all
Right,
that. So
right.
obviously, it's kind of hard.
Was
for
that-
people to come
Did
to
they
a
have-
consensus of what the Bible is actually saying?
This is so
I
much.
shopped around. I dabbled and
He had that
dabbled,
one actor in that movie
experimented
where he
with
was
few
a
different kinds of
priest.
churches and tried my best to figure out which one is the most Jesus-y and Bible-y, I guess.
Okay,
Eventually,
okay.
I found this one kind of church where their whole thing was living your life just like Jesus. And you might
All
say, yeah, isn't that the goal for all Christians?
I mean, it sounds
Yes.
like it, but
And no. Yes, in the sense that all Christians say they want to be loving and forgiven and
But
things
they're-
like that. But
Whoa.
Christians don't
Whoa.
actually live the same lifestyle as Jesus.
Oh, no.
because
Ew.
Jesus
Ew.
was a
He
Jew.
took the
And there's
baby.
special rules
Ah.
that Jews follow. Like
Ah.
they don't eat pork and they don't work on Saturdays and there's a bunch more. But those are the most
Oh, yeah, the
inconvenient
Sabbath.
ones. Anyway,
which
argue,
was that's
the
another
most
argument.
important
Sabbath
rule
is
of
on
them
Sunday
all
or
is that
Saturday.
all
That's
of
another
you
argument
have to be
between
circumcised.
religions.
Like if you're not circumcised, you're cut.
Okay, you
No
fell in
smelly
deep. That
snorkel
added.
dicks in heaven.
Wow.
Only
That
clean
as an
master race
adult-
Johnsons are allowed.
I
I'm
feel like if
serious, this is
it
in the
hadn't
Bible,
happened, you a grown
aka
adult,
no
it's just
snorkel
pray over it and
dicks.
call it a day.
Now, truth be told, this shit got patched with the Jesus update. You know, when the Son of
dear.
God DLC dropped, they
Hilarious
completely
with
changed
the
everything.
Steam thing.
Now it doesn't matter. Being uncircumcised won't send you to hell to burn forever.
Okay.
Which is pretty convenient for the man them in the UK. Yeah, I've seen British porn.
Oh,
I would have been
well.
cooked. But I didn't know
What
the
does that
Bible
mean?
that good yet, right?
I don't know. Maybe don't explain it to me.
Get a 4-year
Don't
degree
explain it to me.
to convert to Christianity, which probably you should, but right. But so the people at this Jewish church, they convinced me into thinking we're still under the old rules, and to be fair, they don't know any better, right? They believe this stuff.
He's looking around like he's getting.
Like the thing with
he's about to jump.
There's a lot of different opinions on what the truth is.
That is very true.
Most people have good intentions. Nonetheless, they
there
told
are
me
a lot that
I
do.
had to get circumcised.
Most,
right?
I don't know. But there are a lot that have good intentions.
Look, God might give you a pass, but we don't know. I wouldn't risk it, to be honest. And so I was like, dang.
Well, if
I don't want to risk it. And I had the money.
Whoa.
I was living in Houston at the time, and they had a clinic not too far from where I lived with pretty good reviews for adult circumcisions. So I was like, well,
so that's like a thing that they do often.
If I died uncircumcised, and he asks me why I didn't do it. So
I'm not gonna lie. This is really quick. This is a reason. This is something I wish that I had questioned when I was younger. Like, do you really think God would be mad at you? Like, you lived your life right. You did all the things you were supposed to do, and you think he'd really be mad at you because you got a hood? Meanwhile, people with the white hoods feel like they're doing it in God's name, murdering people at mass and feeling good about it. Not at mass, like mass church, but in mass, like a lot of people.
I guess I'll go do this. So I call him up to make the appointment, and it was so casual. It was too easy, bro.
I was
like they should have a waiting period, you know, so that you could like
taking me back to the toxic relationship I had with religion.
Get you in on Thursday. I was like, nigga, it's Tuesday. That's so soon. But hey, if I'm gonna do it, I might as well just do it. Right?
Lord.
What's the hold up? So I was like, all right, Thursday works for me. I had to pay a deposit of like $500 so that I wouldn't flake. You know, I imagine
you paid $500
would flake if it wasn't.
Oh, probably.
The whole thing costs like $2,500, bro, and you can't use insurance either. It has to be cash. But can you put a price on not burning in hell forever?
Oh Lord!
Got to do what you got to do. So I made the appointment. Then I tell my wife, and she was not happy. Right? In fact, she cried.
So this is
she
after.
Thought it was a terrible idea. She was
right. This is after the fact,
and thought it was too quick of a decision.
Yes.
It was too extreme. Why can't I wait a few months? Maybe I'll learn something new and realize I don't need to do it.
Right.
And then I was like, of course. This is the same thing Eve did.
Lord, they
and look
got
how
him.
That shit turned out.
They
right?
got
and
him.
If there is anything,
they got him.
Very clear about is that you should never listen
to a woman. That's what the Bible says.
Especially when she's trying to tell you to do the opposite of what God says. Now, it turns out God would change his mind on this with the Jesus patch, but
hilarious.
I didn't understand that at the time. The Bible is a very thick book, and it's very confusing.
There's Old Testament and New Testament.
The Bible admits to it being confusing, so that's not me taking a shot or anything.
Right,
so with my mind made up and not allowing my evil Jezebel wife to deceive me into thinking that I was making a rash decision, and that
I'm gonna call her Jezebel.
Is, you know, like a loving and patient God, he wouldn't mind me taking more time to work through this stuff before making such an expensive and permanent decision.
Crazy expensive. Well,
as every Christian knows,
kind of affordable.
Through things is exactly
when it comes to surgery, it's kind of affordable because some surgeries can be like $100,000. But on the grand scheme of thing, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. Like that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money.
What Satan wants you to do. That's called leaning on your own understanding. So I committed
when you think
to
for
going
yourself
with it anyway. Well, Thursday came around, and reluctantly, she starts to support me.
Christine's processing some
right. Sometimes she doesn't agree
old
with
church
my
experiences
decisions.
right now.
Sometimes she even puts up a fight, but eventually, she has always supported me at the end, even when I was wrong or was making a decision that wasn't in our best interest.
Right.
For that, I will never deserve this woman. So I went to the place, right? They had me put some numbing cream on my snickerdoodle. And once I was fully numb, they injected it with local anesthesia.
Oh,
which
Lord.
I didn't feel at all. I shot off one last prayer, and then Doc
I
got
would
to work.
cry.
It didn't take long, about 45 minutes for the whole procedure, and I
45
didn't feel
minutes?
a thing. They wrapped it up in gauze. The
Uh-huh.
doctor wrote me a prescription for pain meds and then
Oh,
sent me on
ooh,
my way.
how-
I was shocked how good I felt.
How-
For one, the doctor said the surgery went perfectly, and
Much
here I am
pain.
2 years
Did you look
later
at it,
and can
though?
confidently say that it did in fact go very well.
Oh,
based
okay,
on
okay,
the
okay.
Results. I also
Okay,
felt like
okay.
I pleased God. You know, no more snorkeling.
Oh, baby. Oh,
At
baby.
the time, I thought was really bothering him.
Oh,
But lastly,
which is not
I
any of the
felt
thing that
okay.
he's.
Even 15 minutes after the operation was over, and I
Wow,
was walking out to the car,
what a
it just
billboard.
felt numb.
Once I
Still,
saw that
stopped
E, I
at the
knew it was
pharmacy
Chick-fil-A.
and picked up the pain meds. He prescribed me a bottle of Oxys, which, you know, that's
Woo.
the good shit.
Woo.
And those are the kinds of pills that start rap careers, if you know what I'm saying. They're also the
Who is
kinds of
that?
pills that end rap careers, if you know what I'm saying.
I know what you're saying. Oh, no.
So I get home,
Oh, no.
still no pain, and I think to myself, you know what? I don't need these pills.
Oh,
I
no.
have Jesus. If God wanted
What?
me to get circumcised,
Oh,
He's also
Lord.
going to give me the strength
Oh,
to get
baby.
through whatever pain. The
It's like the
circumcision is
sentiment
going
on
to
its
cause.
in its
I don't
own.
need
I
the
get it makes
devil's
sense, but this
medicine.
is.
And so I flush him down the toilet.
Whoa,
Well, turns out
whoa.
that was a mistake. So the day
Right.
continued, and with
Uh-huh.
time, it started to ache a little bit. But
Oh,
on a scale
Lord.
of 1 to 10, at worst, it was like a 3. Fast
Uh-huh.
forward to bedtime, and my wife and I go to sleep.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know how long I was asleep for, but
Okay.
at some point in the middle of the night, I am awoken with the fire of 1,000
Oh.
suns on my
Oh,
Johnson. The closest thing
no.
I can compare it to is like,
No.
like, all right, imagine you have a boner. Now imagine a pit bull trying to bite it off.
Ah!
That's probably what it's like. It was like the worst blowjob ever.
Ah!
Times 1,000. I couldn't
Oh,
help
Lord.
it. I yelled out, Lord, Jesus, please help
Oh.
me. Of course, that didn't do shit.
Oh.
And it wakes up my wife. And
Oh,
she's like,
wow.
oh my God, what's happening? Are you okay? I'm like,
Oh,
no,
dear.
my dick's going to explode. And
Oh,
I honestly
gosh.
thought that might happen. Like, what if the
Oh,
stitches were
Lord.
too tight, right?
Yeah, right.
I didn't tell the doctor that I was a grower and not a shower.
Oh,
what if he didn't put
Lord.
enough slack in it? But fortunately,
That'd be
it
crazy.
didn't explode. Right? My wife got me an ice pack,
Okay.
and that did calm things down. Once it was thoroughly chilled and back to its original state, I was able to fall asleep again.
Oh,
Only
okay.
for that shit to happen all over again.
Oh,
several
gosh.
times, every
Oh.
night. For like a week
Oh,
straight. It was torture of the sorts
gosh.
I had never experienced.
You should have
before.
kept
By
them
the third day,
pills.
I called the doctor's office and tried to explain to them how I threw away the pain pills because I thought I didn't need them.
They were probably
so
like,
I was wondering
"Idiot."
if I could get another prescription.
Mm.
But they didn't believe me. They
Mm-mm.
must have thought I sold them.
Yeah,
or
or
an
was
addict or
yeah,
whatever.
yep.
And so
They're not
they
going to do it
couldn't find
again.
Another prescription, and so I had to thug it out on just Tylenol.
Right.
Gee, just over the counter pain meds, which did nothing. But I got through it.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was
because of
hard.
drug addictions,
No
they're not
pun
going to do
intended,
that.
But I got through it. And after a couple of months, it was fully healed and ready to go.
Months.
And since then, I've had one more kid. A son.
Okay.
So that's 2 girls, 1 boy, all
Aw.
under 3. Just so you're all caught up. No complaints from the wife. And so,
Okay.
all's well that ends well, right? Is what they say. And that's the story of how I got
You okay?
Tell I had have a cold, man.
Okay.
It might be COVID. I don't. Yeah. And that's
Oh,
the story of how I
Lord.
got circumcised.
Drink
as
some
an
orange juice,
Thank
some
you for
vitamin
watching,
D,
and don't
some
forget
ginger,
to
and some
subscribe
honey
to
and
my
lemon.
second channel, YDR. Tap in with your boy. Daily entertaining content over there. All right, boys.
Okay.
I'll see you when I see you.
So this has awakened some processing when it comes to like my experience with religion and how like trains of thought are just painted and not an actual explanation of where the lines are and where the boundaries are crossing into sin, so to speak. And then when you share a vagueness to a mass group of people who don't want to go to hell, they believe everything you're saying unless they want to question it. And then they get that response, lean not on thine own understanding. Because it's like if you think, then you would see some of the holes. But as a hive, some leaders wouldn't want that. They wouldn't want you to see the holes. They want you to just implicitly believe and agree. And I say shame on those people like, oh yeah, you might be okay, but do you want to risk it? He's a grown-ass man. Like, so if he was a kid, right, and passed, God forbid, living a great life, but was not circumcised, something that was outside of his control, and he wouldn't have the right to do it on himself. He wouldn't have the right to do it on himself or get it done by himself, right? He would need parental intervention, right? If he were to pass, are you going to say that he's going to go to hell just because he's got a hood? His sausage got a hoodie on? Like, and there's a question that my husband had asked me in the past when I did something very small and I thought like, okay, I'm going to die and I'm going to go to hell. And he's like, if you really think that your God would kill you over something like this and then send you to hell, is that really somebody you want to serve? And it did have me sit and be like, yo, I love God and God is so amazing. The thing that I'm I think that I did that I think I'm going to die and go to hell for, he loves me so immensely. I call him my father. Would this be something I would expect my father to do? A loving father, not my father, but a loving father to do? And it made me change kind of my perspective and try to give myself more grace, because he gives grace. He gives compassion. He's not this petty villain that we can sometimes draw him out to be without knowing that's how we're painting him, when we're scared that we've done something in sin, And it could be something small. It could be something small. And there's a line there with, right, what I did, what grace God will give, whether I'll actually go to hell. These are all different lines. And then the line of mental health versus religion. Okay. Not every time that you're feeling paranoid is that an admittance of serving the devil. You could just be effed up in the head due to trauma from your life, So watching this, like, I feel it right here, like, just like that. Because there's still grace I need to give myself. I still need to give myself so much grace. It was like, I grew up in the church. I didn't really truly stop going to church since my daughter was born. It was 6 years ago. I'm 37. So for 31 years of my life, I had been heavily into church. So there are some habits that I have to work out of. And one is I need to work out of that extreme sense of thinking that just accidentally having a sliver of a toenail over the line means I'm going to die and go to hell. Because that's not the case. That is not the case. God is not going to say, hey, you know what? You lived a great life, but your dingle's got a shingle, so you got to go. You can't be up in here. Is that really the person that you guys think he is? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Links down below to become a patron to get the uncut reaction to all the shows and anime we check out. I love you guys as always. And until next time, buddies. Toodles.